weekly podcast on YouTube on the Stargate Pyramids webpage, our YouTube page that's going to be dealing with all things pyramids. Joining me today is Lori Sasson and Bill McKenzie. Lori and Bill, why don't you introduce yourselves briefly?
Hi, I'm Lori Sasson. I am a psychic. I'm able to feel energy very easily.
Hi, I'm Bill McKenzie, and I've been learning how to dowse, and I'll be helping Charlie and Lori trying to figure out the energy level.
So for our first podcast today, we put together a number of slides depicting various pyramids that are found throughout the planet, including the Stargate Pyramid, which is based upon the Russian pyramids that have been built over the last 25 to 30 years in Russia. So we're going to do this today. We're happy to take questions during the podcast. Just go ahead and if you're watching on YouTube, type in your questions to us, and we'll try to answer those throughout the session. But without further ado, I'm going to open it up. We're going to start with today's session by having Lori and Bill do an energy discussion on the Giza pyramid. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the lines that you see on the page, the 51.81 in the balloon on the left-hand side, we have used a device called an MB ruler to measure the slant angles of various pyramids. So some of these slides are going to include that. But this particular picture of the Giza pyramid, which I think Lori and Bill will explain, has not only the pyramid itself involved in the picture, but also the Sphinx. And that's going to impact their perceptions of the energy fields of these pyramids. But with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Lori and let her explain to you what she's finding as intuitive and psychic about the Giza pyramid. And go ahead.
Well, what's great about us doing this video every Monday, in the background, we are always looking at things, looking at different pyramids. Bill, Charlie, and I have constantly looked at different things off video, and what we find are these energies that aren't necessarily positive coming off of pyramids. And Charlie has a series of different pyramids we're going to be going through. And this one particular we're looking at, the pyramid in the background, the Giza pyramid, last week we found had a negative energy. Now, while we were looking at that, it was a very high energy, but it was a very high negative energy going out. I found how it was doing that. I cleared the frequency and vibration that it was putting off, and we were able to clear the energy from that pyramid. But as we're looking at this photo today, the pyramid in the background does not have a negative frequency or energy coming off of it, but the Sphinx, the face right there, has a negative energy coming off of it. And I'll turn it over to Bill.
The energy level of the Sphinx, using the Bovis light force, is equivalent to a cell phone radiation.
And what would that actually tell us, Bill?
It's very low.
Very low level, okay,
Yeah.
of radiation. So
what you're saying is that then causes illnesses or diseases, or what are you saying with that very low energy?
It's a negative energy.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would depict or consider cell phone energy to be negative. So it's a low negative energy that you're finding.
Yes.
Okay. And is that for, I'm sorry, is that for the Sphinx or is that for the pyramid?
That's for the Sphinx.
Sphinx, okay. What are you getting for the pyramid itself at this point?
If you're asking me, I don't feel any energy off of the pyramid.
So I'm getting a positive energy off the pyramid. And that energy is around 20K.
Did you say 28K?
20.
20K, okay.
20K. And
Okay.
just for verification purposes, this large pyramid is giving you a 20K reading when we've been doing similar readings inside the pyramids we're all sitting in. And it ranges anywhere from 50,000 to $1 million.
Yes.
So this is not giving off anywhere near the level of energy, according to both of you, that we are getting from the Stargate or sacred geometry pyramids that we're sitting in now. So, okay, let's move on, because we actually, the next slide is a Giza geometry copper meditation pyramid. These have been around for a number of years on the internet and other places. So I wanted to find out, people ask us this question all the time, how does the energy of a Giza copper meditation pyramid compare? So I'll throw it open. Why don't you start, Lori?
All right. When I first felt this energy, again, I don't feel a positive energy. It's a negative energy, and it's actually attracting what I understand is negative aliens. So this is bringing about a negative frequency and energy, and it's putting out a negative frequency and energy.
And I would agree with that. I get a negative energy, and the level of that negative energy is 3,000.
Okay. So at least based upon what you guys are getting, this is not really a very positive thing to be sitting under, it sounds like to me.
You know, and I have to say, for many years, and we're going 15, 20 years, I would see people with these tiny little pyramids in the same shape, and they want to put that on top of money or on top of their intentions or something like that. And I never felt good when they did that. I could tell there was an energy. I think a lot of times they do that simply because of the mystery behind the pyramids in Egypt, and they feel compelled to have something similar to it because of that mystery, not really knowing the energy behind it. That's my guess. But again, I never felt a good energy coming from these types of pyramids.
Okay. Let me throw some questions out to both of you. Probably the most popular video that I have done in the pyramid space was a comparison of the energy field between an identical Russian geometry PVC pyramid versus copper. And we found that the copper had a major impact on the energy field. It dampened it or lessened it tremendously, pursuant to our calculations with the Lecker antenna. So it looks as though there's actually two major factors at play here potentially, and was interested in your comments. One is the building materials, i.e. copper versus PVC, and the other is the geometry. So I'm wondering if either or both of you could comment on the impacts of those two factors on the energy readings that you're getting.
Well, I know copper is a conduit. I know that it's a very positive energy. You want to connect with the higher realms and spirituality. But in this case, in the shape and the dimensions is not allowing that to happen. And if I put that in the shape of your current pyramid in copper instead of the PVC like I have here, I don't feel as strong as frequency as I do like right now. So that I'm not sure why, but I'm told it has to do with the heart. Like it does something to the heart that it doesn't allow the frequency to work as well. So I'd have to look into that a little bit more.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and what I get is that the geometry of the Giza pyramid has a positive energy, but the Russian geometry has a higher energy than the Giza geometry, and that also the copper, the metal, is not a good material to build a pyramid out of.
Okay. Well, both of those confirm the research that's been done in Russia and the stuff that the information that we've done ourselves. So further proof here that, you know, the Giza copper meditation pyramid is not going to have the same energy fields as that of the PVC Russian geometry pyramid that we're using here. So, all right, let's move on to the next slide. We're not concentrating only on Giza today, but we do have several slides here of the Giza because that's the one that most people are familiar with. And we wanted to talk about that at some length before we continued on. This is PSSM, stands for the Pyramid Spiritual Societies Movement. This is the largest, to my knowledge, organization in the world devoted to pyramid meditation. This group uses the Giza pyramid geometry for the construction of their pyramids throughout India and the world. And this is one of their larger meditation pyramids that's been built in India. So, Laurie, why don't we start with you and give us your impressions on the energy field of this pyramid?
Well, this kind of shocked me because in previous Giza pyramids, I was always feeling a negative frequency or negative energy coming from them. This one, I don't feel an energy positive or negative, but I think we had mentioned before the video started that inside the pyramid, there's a totally different energy internally that is negative. And I do sense that when I go inside the pyramid, but the outside does not put off any type of energy at all. And what I find so interesting about that is really in evolving to a certain spiritual level, you want to be the observer. You want to not put a positive or negative. You just want to be and exist. So I like that it has no positive or negative frequency coming off of it.
Well, it's funny because I get that it does have a positive energy, but again, it's very low. It's only about 4,000, which is, you know, just above the Giza that we just looked at.
Right, right.
And
So
then, and then internally, do you get anything?
The energy?
Yes.
Yeah, internally it's up to about 17,000.
And it's a positive frequency.
Let's ask. No.
Okay.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Now, we don't know if there are people inside of that pyramid when this photo was taken. So I would just ask that question in general. Would that knowledge or would knowing that impact what you've said? And do you think that the presence or absence of people inside the pyramid would have an impact on the energy field?
From my perspective, if we go inside there and change out any person coming in or out, I get a no, it does not change it. I get that it's still that negative energy. And when I ask why, I get more of like, it puts a negative alien energy into the people.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Here's a Nubian pyramid. This is one of the other pyramid geometries that's found in ancient Egyptian sites. So Laurie, take it away.
Out of all the pyramids we're going to look at in these slides today, this is my favorite because I always, when I look at it and feel into the energy of this pyramid, I get chills. It just immediately, I can feel my frequency rise. When I look at it, it feels really good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I get it that it's got a positive energy also, and this time the energy is up to 16K.
Okay. So clearly,
Can you talk a little bit about the Nubians for a moment? Do you know much about them?
who are you asking?
Charlie.
Oh, me. Well, I can say that there are three major, pyramid geometries other than the Russian, the Giza being one, and then the Nubian and the Golden are both very, very similar to each other in terms of their geometry. The Nubian pyramid has a slant angle of 72.828 degrees, which results in a height to base length ratio of 5. Now, the Golden has a slant angle of 72 degrees and has an a ratio of edge angle to base length of 5, or 1.618. So they're very, very close visually to the Russian pyramids, but they're not quite as steep. This Nubian pyramid, as demonstrated, exists in the upper Nile, in other words, further south from the Giza pyramids in Egypt, and apparently was built, I believe, at a somewhat later time frame than the Giza pyramids were. But that's a quick and dirty on the Nubian.
Very nice, thank you.
So let's move on. Here's the Golden that I was just mentioning, and you'll see that it has the slant angle is 72 degrees on the bottom, and the apex angle is 36 degrees. Do you get anything from that, Laurie?
Again, a positive frequency coming from that.
Okay.
Bill?
Yes, it's got a positive energy. And this is just slightly lower in terms of the Nubian at 14,000.
Okay. Well, and see, it seems as though, in general, the greater the slant angle, the higher the energy field, and to relate these, that's what's been happening so far. And of course, the geometry of the pyramids that we're sitting in, the Stargate pyramids, we previously measured to be higher than even any of these as well. So anyway, that's a quick summary. Here's a Russian pyramid. This is a pyramid that was built outside of Moscow. We can quickly check the energy of that pyramid.
Right, I can feel a good energy on the outside and the inside of this pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah, the geometry of this pyramid is 20,000, and it is positive.
Yeah. So clearly a more significant and powerful energy field from the Russian pyramid. Now here is an older version of our Russian meditation pyramid. It's slightly off with respect to the geometry because this was a version that we made early on before we had the precise geometry. So the geometry is off by about a little over 0.2 of a degree. So I'm curious, do you get any change in your energy field perceptions from that?
I still get positive on the structure and positive with the person inside. I'll let Bill get the measurements.
Yeah, I get a positive energy, and this pyramid gives off 17,000.
Okay. And then here is our more recent up-to-date Russian pyramids. So now if you can comment further on that one.
Okay, so when I look at this, my energy starts getting very fast and it speeds up very rapidly. And I get that it's positive and then internally positive. I find it interesting that just looking at it while under the pyramid seems to be doing something. So I don't know if Bill can check that out.
So this pyramid gives off the highest level so far, which is 22,000.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not sure what you're asking me about the energy below it.
How about check my energy while I'm looking at it?
Okay. $24,000.
Okay, so I'm going to stop looking at it.
Goes to 22,000.
Yeah. So just by being in the pyramid and looking at that pyramid increased my energy and frequency.
And to digress here a minute, this is probably, if we haven't talked about this, this is a topic I want to talk about at some point in the future, is the work of Dr. Ibrahim Karim, who has created a whole new field of study called biogeometry. He takes forms and changes energy fields just by having people look at or have those forms in their vicinity. So, you know, it's not at all a surprise to me that just the mere fact of looking at an object would have the impact that it does for your energy field. So, all right, let's move on. Now we're going to move away from the traditional Giza, Nubian, and Russian pyramids and move into some pyramid structures around the world. So we're going to start with a Mayan pyramid. I believe this one is Chichen Itza, I believe, from Mexico.
You know, what's funny is the last picture and image, my energy was going up and I was starting to heat up as if I was on a brisk walk. And then you show this picture and all of a sudden I get cold and it's interesting because my frequency still feels like it's fast and it's going fast, but it feels like it's descending, not ascending, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Who's laughing?
So I get that this is a negative energy and that it's around 5,000 K.
Okay, so as I'm looking at it, would you check my energy again, please?
So you're 7,000 right now.
And if I were to ask you, is it ascending?
No.
Is it descending?
Yes.
So what would that mean to you guys if I said I was descending by looking at a Mayan pyramid?
So my take on that is that having just watched the David Wilcock series on Gaia, he talks about levity and gravity, and that the steeper a pyramid is, you have more levity, and the shallower in terms of slant angle, in other words, Giza or Mayan, you have more gravity.
And more gravity would cause you to what, Bill?
Cause the energy to descend.
Okay, So say for instance, let's use as an example. If you wanted to manifest something, what would it do for manifesting?
What would this pyramid do?
Yeah.
Okay, so is this a good pyramid to manifest in? No.
And that's kind of how I look at things when I talk to people about abundance and manifesting and creating the life that you want to live. What I look at is always staying in that positive frequency that is ascending you, taking you to your higher purpose, your soul's purpose, etc. And what I'm feeling with this one, it will deacclimate you. So if this pyramid is acclimating you to what your desires are, this pyramid is actually deacclimating you.
The little I know about the Mayan culture, it was a highly structured culture, but it also included a lot of, I believe, if you tell me, either of you, if I'm wrong here, some human sacrifice and so forth. Is that
right? That during particular times of astrological things, like maybe Venus was going over another planet or going forward instead of going backwards, or an eclipse or a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, anything like that, they would do human sacrifices, and they go throughout all of that area for miles, finding people and bringing them in just to do that.
would those activities have an impact, do you think, on the energy fields that you're feeling today?
Well, when you ask that question, I don't get a yes on that. But what I find so interesting, what I found that I think the Mayans were doing at the time, now this is just a guess, I felt that they were trying to create more souls. And if you've ever taken a candle and you have a lit candle and you blow it out, and you don't have to bring the flame even close to the where you light it, it'll light automatically. And that's almost like an analogy of your soul, that when your soul dies, it doesn't necessarily stay whole. It goes out to maybe 100 separate pieces and then goes out and reincarnates, so we have more existence. That kind of makes sense if we started with only a few people and now we have so many.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it? It makes more sense that way.
Okay.
And that's what I understand they were doing by human sacrifices. Now, the actual structure itself, I think they were probably getting information from something that was not of a higher power that told them to make the structure the way it is. And I don't know what Bill is getting, but I'd like to really quickly here see if we can't change this energy. So
Okay.
I'll let Bill talk and then we'll go from there.
All right.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what it is I'm asking here, but
Well, the first question Charlie asked was, did the sacrifices that the Mayans did on this pyramid, did it cause the energy of the descending frequency?
Right.
no.
Okay. Were they tapped into a, let's ask this, were they tapped in to a higher dimension that was not positive?
Yes.
Was it to reincarnate with more negative energy?
Yes.
Does that make sense to you all? So these sacrifices were put out constantly to then create more negative energy on the earth instead of positive, that it would then as I understand, there are negative aliens that want a lot of the stuff that we have on Earth, especially the gold, is what I understand. So would these negative aliens, Bill, want the gold?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think it's also called manna. Is that correct? Do you remember that in the Bible? Does anyone remember that in the Bible?
Oh, sure. Well, sure. Yes.
Okay.
Now,
What is manna, though?
well, I think that's
It's a white powder
yeah.
that can be turned into gold.
I mean,
Oh, I see.
I've done some other videos where we've discussed monoatomic gold or ormus, and some schools of thought indicate that that is actually what the manna was that they were talking about during the trek through away from Egypt for 40 years that God was providing. Now I don't know, but that's a theory.
Now, Bill asked if these negative aliens know that we're talking about them.
Yes.
Okay, one other thing I'll say before we clear this energy. What I find so interesting is on 60 Minutes last night, they talked about, they went deep into the center of the earth. They found water that's 1 billion years old. So that kind of scratches all the historical books, doesn't it?
It sure does.
All right. So let's see what we can do with the energy here on the Mayan calendar. And if you want to check my energy as I do this, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. Did you get anything on that?
I did. So it took a while, but the initial reading was 50,000, and then while you were working, you got up to 250,000, and then you came back down.
And I'll explain what happened then. When I was first doing it, I was trying to find out the energy we needed to look at first. I always ask for help when I do this. And then I wondered what prevented me from unmanifesting it originally. What was the energy, and found where it was located. So I did that. So then it took care of everything. But I will tell you this, Pluto was working with this energy. It was what was keeping the energy going. Now, if we test this frequency and energy coming off of the Mayan pyramid, let's see what's going on there.
Okay, so I guess we should ask, is it a positive energy? Yeah.
And then check my energy as I'm looking at the pyramid, if you would, please.
Sure. So now it's up to 20K.
And is it positive?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now let's see what's inside, because I didn't check inside. I don't know if you checked inside.
I'm not as quick as you.
Okay, and I will say this, I still get that there's a negative energy inside the pyramid. So I'm glad we did this instead of moving on.
Energy on the inside is the same, 20K, and is there a negative energy on the inside? It's telling me that it's either neutral or a bad question.
Well, I'm just going to check it here so you can, if you want, you can check my energy again as I do this. All right.
Same thing happened. You went up to 250 and then back down to 50.
Okay, and now if you check, this is what's interesting, Bill. There was an actually transmuted energy, so it was hidden. So I don't know how that would show up on your dowsing. Maybe that's why it said not positive or negative.
So was there a hidden energy inside this pyramid? And it says yes.
Okay. Is it still there?
No.
Okay, good. Good.
I know that when you were doing your work there, Lori, that when I looked at the pyramid, I found that I had a different feeling just from watching the pyramid and the energy that I was experiencing during that process. I felt like my mind like cleared out from a fog or something when you were finishing up your clearing work.
Right. Just think about that for a minute. You know, in a year, 100,000 people or more could be, you know, traveling to Africa, to Mexico, anywhere and everywhere to these different types of pyramids that are putting off a negative energy. Not only are they looking at it, they're standing on it, they're taking photos of it, and they're taking it home.
Yes.
The photos have an energy on it. They now have an imprint on them. I always look at people that see UFOs or are abducted. What I look at is you kind of you then have like a tag like they put on animals to make sure that they mark them from that point forward, just with your vision, just with your eyes, just by looking. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's powerful. You know, the eyes are the window to the soul.
Sure. All right, let's move on to the Aztec pyramid, which seems to be very similar in design, but at least when I looked this up in Google Images, it was marked as an Aztec, and I will profess I am not an expert in these pyramids. So I'll let you guys take it away from here.
I'll let Bill start with this one.
Okay, so I get a positive energy on this one. And the energy level is 12K.
Okay, and then if you'll check again inside and possibly for hidden.
Okay, is the energy inside the pyramid positive? Yes. And is there any hidden energy inside the pyramid? No.
So I get a positive energy in this pyramid as well. And the inside of the pyramid, I don't get positive. We didn't talk about the inside earlier. So I'm going to just check this really quickly to find out what's going on. It's doing something to my lower stomach area when I tap into it. Okay, all right. That feels a lot better. All right, we're done with this one.
Okay. Now here is Bosnian pyramid. This is, for those of you not familiar with the Bosnian pyramids, this complex of pyramids that's been found in Bosnia is apparently the largest in the world, and it's under active process of being unearthed and reconstructed. So what are you getting from this one, Lori and Bill?
I'll let you start, Bill.
Okay. So I had that this is a positive energy structure, and that it has positive energy on the inside, that it doesn't have any negative or hidden energy on the inside, and that its energy level is 14,000.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to look at my energy when I'm looking at this pyramid.
Okay. $16.
And is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Wow, I'm totally getting the opposite of everything you're saying, Bill. I wonder what the difference is there. Why would we see things differently or feel things differently? Okay, let me ask you this, Bill. Is there a block between you and this pyramid?
Yes.
Okay. Is there also a hidden block between you and this pyramid?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to clear the block and I'm going to have you test it again, okay? Okay, now try it.
Okay. Okay, now it's saying it's a negative energy.
All right, we don't want that to be too long, so I need to clear it out because I don't want you to feel that energy. Obviously, now you can feel it. I mean, maybe you don't sense it, but it's obviously putting out an energy to you. All right, try it now.
Okay. Now it's saying that positive energy.
Did the frequencies go up at all, or is it about the same?
Up to 16.
Okay, good.
Once again, I felt something change in my frontal part
Visually?
of my brain. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, and you look at it and it looks more peaceful and pretty, and it
Yeah.
almost looks more colorful now.
Yeah.
And I do this with people. People come to me with very depressed people, and energies that might be affecting a person, and I'll be able to clear it out. Next thing you know, it looks like the person's smiling where before they look totally depressed. It's like, how does that happen? It's so strange, but it's amazing how that works.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Here's another Bosnian pyramid I found on Bing search.
Okay, I think there's another block going to Bill on this one. Remember, we looked at this earlier.
It's saying positive energy. And it's about 14,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
Charlie,
ready?
I just cleared the energy, so it would be better. I was feeling the opposite again.
Okay.
So now it's feeling positive outside and inside.
That's amazing. Every time you clear, I'm getting the same feeling in my head.
Well, I'm glad you guys are recognizing it now. Like this one gave me a massive headache until I
Yeah,
cleared. Yeah.
every one of these last 3 or 4, I've been having like this numbness in my head, and then it's like some pressure is released when you release the energy.
Well, looking at this pyramid
Correct.
here, before it was kind of blurry to me, but now that line looks very crisp. It looks almost sunnier than it looked like an overcast before, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I noticed that the sky is a little bit bluer.
yeah, yeah, that's right. It is.
See what we're doing? We're going back in time when this photo was taken and clearing that energy from that time.
Wow. All right, let's move on. Here's a one that some of you may be familiar with, the pyramids that have been recently found in Antarctica.
Bill, you're up.
I get a negative energy on this one.
You know, not only is there snow around there causing the effect of feeling like it's cold there, but it is putting off a cold energy.
And it's 5,000, 5K.
Wow. And then internally, anything
You mean like the energy?
inside the, yeah, I'm kind of curious there. See, this
So the
again gives
inside
me
is always-
massive headache in my third eye and my pineal
Well,
gland.
the inside is 2K. But I think the important question is this a man-made pyramid? I get no.
Yeah, not at all. And I'm feeling very nauseous as I dive deeper into this one. Do you suppose that this is causing like Antarctica to be cold? Where maybe it's not meant to be?
Well, it's an interesting question. Yes, it's causing Antarctica to be cold.
Well, I know we always have known this all our lives, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true or right. Man, it's hurting my heart. All right, I'm gonna do work on it here. Let's see what goes on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling that pressure up in my temples again.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's test it out now.
Okay, so quick question. Did you give it a, I don't know what the right word is. Did you concentrate more on this particular pyramid than you have on the other ones to clear?
Well, here's the one thing I will say. I had to look away because my body was hurting so badly while looking at it. It took me a lot more to troubleshoot this one than it did the other ones. I mean, if I went into the details of how I had to do this, it took a lot more.
Okay, because your energy spiked to 5 million.
Yeah, it took me a lot. And you know, this is one thing, and I don't know if you guys can help me with this, but when I have sessions, there are times I have them like this where the troubleshooting is so intense that afterwards I'd like to go work out, but I'm so exhausted that I'm like, I don't have it in me.
Go work out anyway.
Well,
You'll feel better.
And this is the weird thing, as I understand it, and Bill, you can test this out. When I request that negative energy to leave and it no longer exists, or I should just say energy, I shouldn't say positive or negative, but just this energy that doesn't necessarily belong here, it seems to go through me, starting at the top down to my body and going out of my foot. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it feels like. So if you're in front of me in a session, for example, I had a couple session the other day, and we needed to clear some energy out of this guy, and my whole left side of my body was going like this, and I was showing the woman, she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. This is his energy going out of him and kind of going through me. So
do you ground yourself before you do any of this?
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not sticking with you.
Oh, gosh, no. Oh, gosh, I no. Did you ever see the Green Mile and coffee?
Yes.
Okay. When I meditate, that's kind of what I do, is I just like get rid of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably a good point. We've got a question from the listeners and viewers today. This is from Hakan, and he says, hello. In a recent video, Lori said about an Egyptian hieroglyph depicting a small pyramid and the big pyramid is about transmutation and alchemy. Can this be real alchemy? In other words, about producing gold from lead?
And I get an absolute yes on that. Now, don't ask me how. I would have to figure it out first and then show you. But I get a yeah.
I did an interview earlier in the year with a gentleman named Michael Hoynes, and we got together because he has made what's called ormus or monoatomic gold with this pyramid geometry. So it's certainly been replicated in real life as well. So yeah, I think it is a real phenomenon. Bill, can you test for that?
Sure. What's the question?
Well,
Can you turn lead to gold in the pyramid?
Absolutely.
Wow, what are we doing videos? Why aren't we?
I think I need to get Michael on for an update. He's been working on this, and actually that might not be a bad person for me to contact. I think I'll do that. See if we can.
What's the difference between gold and monoatomic gold?
Gold does not actually exist in its natural state as a single atom, contrary to popular belief. Just like water, contrary to popular belief, does not exist as a standalone atom. They continue to have these incredibly short distance or short duration attachments to other gold elements. So apparently what monoatomic gold is an energized state where gold exists in its pure single atom, single atom form, is my understanding.
And
Michael would probably be better at describing it.
and it seems to be the most important things that we need in our existence. Isn't that funny?
Is monoatomic gold.
And water.
And water.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And again, I'd like to put salt in there somewhere because I know that is extremely significant. I just don't know what yet.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so the con's going, oh my God. Michael already talking about the Ormus. Yeah, yes. Oh my God, how can we do that with electricity or some other energy? So maybe that's a topic for us to delve into again at another time. Well, we are almost at the top of the hour. Do you guys want to continue on and do a few more?
Yeah, let's do some more.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We did this one earlier. Yeah. Here's an English pyramid. There's two of them actually, but this is the first of two that I found on Bing.com images.
So I'm getting negative energy.
Is it about a 2K?
No, it's higher,
Oh, it is higher.
about 4K.
Yeah, I get negative outside and inside. It's hurting my lower back area, my root chakra area.
I'm starting to think my temples are a good source too.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
feeling the negative energy field around the temples of my head.
So keep an eye on it. And let's change this frequency. Hang on just a second.
Okay. It's loosening up.
Okay, that's done.
Okay, now at 14K.
Well, it's cleared with the temple test too. So my temples.
You know, it's funny, Charlie. I felt that on my left side temple and deep into my brain on the left side. So that would be the right side of my brain. My
Yeah.
my right brain.
Mm-hmm. Now, Hakan has come back with another statement here, which I thought you guys might be interested in. He said, pyramid constructing civilizations already have so much gold in their culture. Maybe the pyramids was the source.
No. I mean, I get what he's saying and I understand the concept. But I get a no on that, but he's close. Tell him to keep going. He's getting there.
Bill, are you getting anything from that?
From that statement?
Right. Do you think that the gold in these pyramid civilizations came from the pyramids themselves? Is basically what he's saying. Was that the source of their gold?
I'll get it now.
Okay. Okay.
Or what I understood from that question is that building a pyramid would then create the gold.
Yeah.
And I get a no on that.
Okay.
Now, the Giza pyramids and like the Luxor pyramid, you know, I told people in Vegas before this happened, they better be careful because the shapes of those pyramids are going to create water because that's what those pyramids did a lot was create water. And sure enough, Vegas is flooded quite a bit in other casinos as well from that pyramid.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, let's move on to this one. By way of history, this is a pyramid that's built in the Stargate, or the Russian geometry. It's built off the English coast, or on the English coast, but it was built in the late 1900s. Now, my best guess, since this is neither contemporary nor ancient, that this geometry may have come from either Egypt or from India as a result of knowledge gained when those two countries were colonies of Great Britain. But I don't know that. Maybe that's something we could test. But I'll let Laurie and Bill describe what they're feeling.
I'll let Bill go first.
So this is interesting. I have a neutral, so it's not positive or negative energy.
And earlier you were finding it positive, but I would like you to check, if you would, my energy as I look at it, because when I went to look at this, my energy stopped altogether. And I don't recall last time it stopping.
Okay, your energy is now at 3,000.
And I'm inside the pyramid looking at this pyramid. Now, what I find interesting, and Bill, you might want to test this, was this pyramid working off of the other English pyramid we just looked at that we cleared the energy?
Yes.
So see how it changed my energy and other energy just by, okay, so we're going to clear this energy. Let's see what happens when we clear this energy. Now, Charlie, are you feeling anything?
Yeah, I'm still getting the sensations up here in my temples, right up here.
Well, I've got, my neck is really stiff. So let me see what happens when we do something with this.
The tension's going away.
All right, now I'm looking at it again, Bill.
Yep. Now it's all the way up to 17.
Yeah, you can, my energy started again. It's going fast. And is it positive?
Yes.
What was that answer?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. I didn't hear the answer. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, I didn't either. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. We've got a couple more. We'll try to finish these off today.
Okay.
We've got this pyramid, which is found at the French and Spanish border.
I'm getting a negative energy on the outside and inside.
Yes, I get the same.
Okay.
And then I'm kind of curious, is it blocking you from really getting the true frequency off of it, Bill?
Well, I got 4K.
All right, let me clear it.
It is blocking me.
Okay. Which, in a way, I think that's a good thing.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I don't know if it's blocking you from something else or if it's blocking you from it it's negative frequencies coming off of it. I don't know. I can check that in a minute, but I'm just going to clear out what I'm getting. Wow, that was interesting when I cleared that out. I felt like I had, like if you had been sucked up from the ground going up.
This was, I'm amazed now that this is something for folks in the audience to appreciate. I started before the psychic enhancement class and I was not that sensitive, but I am starting to feel this stuff increasingly all the time. And Lori, I thank you for that, because I'm feeling this enormous change in my head every time you clear one of these pyramid energy fields.
Well, look at how green and beautiful it is now.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like somebody turned up the saturation on the picture or something. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
imagine that's what these frequencies are coming out of these pyramids are causing, a dullness. You know, we talk about the music notes and how they changed them slightly from a positive music note to a negative music note on almost every song that they put out there now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all by design. Yeah. All right, next one.
Next one. This is called Monk's Mound. It's in the Midwest in the US.
Bill, you're up.
Getting a neutral energy.
Can I ask you, Bill, would you see if there's an energy there that I'm being blocked from?
Yes.
Okay. And is it a positive or a negative?
It's a positive.
So I'm being blocked from a positive energy coming from this.
And Bill, you said you're not seeing any negative energy, correct, from this?
I'm just getting it. It's not moving. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get a neutral feel from it too, but I could feel something in my root chakra again. And say, for instance, monks, oftentimes put out healing energy. That's all they do is they do a mandala out of sand that takes them over a week to create. That's the most beautiful mandala that's of peace and healing. And then they'll put it in a large body of water, like here locally, they'll put it in to the Missouri River after they create it. And they'll give some people some sand. They'll mix it all together at the very end, and you can have just like a little baggie of it. And it's so powerful. And the thing is, if they're putting this out and we're not receiving it, that's too bad, right? So let's see what's going on that we're not getting that energy that could be reaching all of everyone on the earth and further, maybe other planets. So just a second, we'll find out what's going on here. Okay, that's much better. Now, Bill, if you can check to see if we're being blocked from this energy.
No.
In this, I mean, you can almost feel your chest expand and your frequency get really fast, but also almost giggly and happy.
Well, we've got a couple of more questions here from Hakan.
Okay.
He says, first off, thanks for the prior answers. I have another question. We have magnetite stones in our brain. Does placing magnetite crystal or magnets in the dunce cap increase its energy? And then
No.
also, which stones can help to make more powerful dunce caps? How can we make a powerful dunce cap, and does it make us more clever and psychic?
I would not put those stones in with it because it stops the energy for whatever reason. I'm not sure what that is, but and the dunce cap itself has the dimensions you mentioned.
Right. It's
to
the same as the
create-
party hat you were using. Yeah.
Yeah, it creates a good energy, and he wants to increase it.
Are you there, Lori?
I am. I'm just going through different
Oh,
crystals.
sorry. Okay.
You know, it takes me a minute. I apologize, but Bill, feel free to say anything. I don't get a crystal would be good to put in a dunce hat. That bottom line. And then the other thing he was talking about magnets, right?
Magnets or magnetite. Yeah.
No, magnets wouldn't be good either. And my suggestion of that, the best energy would be love. I mean, if you're really wanting to increase the frequency and really get, you know, anything with gratitude and love is going to have your best results.
Yeah. And we're getting one other one from him that I'm not sure we're going to be able to answer in this session, unless either of you can figure something out here. How does wrapping a coil or Mobius coil around the dunce cap and sending a 15 hertz pulsating signal to the coils affect the power of the dunce cap?
Again, I get it. It would lower it.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't even feel good when I try to do it in my mind to do it. Bill, you got anything?
I'm just listening.
Okay.
All right. Shall we go on to the next slide?
Yeah, let's move on. This is well, we've got two more. Alaskan pyramids. Now, I'll ask a question here for both of you. When I found this, some people, there was some questioning as to the validity of this photograph. I can't vouch for it. So I guess the first question I would ask you guys is this an actual valid photograph of pyramids located in Alaska?
I get a yes.
Okay, this is interesting to me because I feel, again, I'm being blocked from this energy, and my energy gets cold and constricts. So I'm going to check to find out why that is.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I feeling the same thing up in my temples. I'm getting kind of a cold, icy feeling.
And I'll tell you, when I clear these out, like this one and the last one, they were both connected to the moon. It was the moon that was allowing this negative energy to continue. And I do get that they are authentic pyramids, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That this is from pyramids in Alaska. Okay. Then we have one more for today, which is this Australian pyramid. Laura, you can start, I guess.
Yeah, I actually get a neutral energy from this. I don't feel positive or negative on the outside or inside of this.
I got a positive energy, but it's low. It's only 5K.
Can you guys test to make sure this is a man-made object or not?
I get it is not a man-made object.
Yeah, me too.
Can you test to see the origin? Is this a extraterrestrial origin?
I get a positive ET.
Okay.
Yes, I also.
Okay. That's a topic that we did not discuss today throughout our sojourns around the world, but without going through the slides, what would you guys' thoughts be on that general question? Were any of these pyramids, other than the contemporary Russian and English pyramids, built by mankind, or were the larger pyramids of extraterrestrial origin?
If we go back to the Mayan and the Aztec, I feel like both of those were actually man-made through the guidance of ETs. The Mayan being negative, the Aztec being positive. And it would be interesting to go and find the dimensions. Do you have the dimensions of the Aztec and the Mayan?
I do not, no.
So it would be interesting to see the difference. Now, really quickly, when you went back to that Aztec one, I did feel something in my hip root chakra again. That's interesting. I think this one was mainly to give blessings to gods for like creating an abundant culture or whatever, kind of like honoring, maybe bringing some of the crops up there. They could have still been doing sacrificing a virgin child or something like that. I know they did that in South America as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bill, are you able to douse for that to see if these were man-made or man-made with extraterrestrial guidance?
So the Aztec pyramid, was it man-made? Yes. Was it made by man with the help of ET? Yes.
Okay.
And the Mayan?
Yeah.
Man-made? Yes. Was it man-made with the help of ET? Yes.
Okay.
Let's ask the Giza one and the Sphinx one.
You bet. That's a great
Giza?
question. Here we are. We're back at Giza.
Was the Giza man-made? Yes. Was the Giza made with help from ET? Yes. And the interesting thing is we know that's true because of the law of one. So
We didn't change the energy of the Sphinx yet, did we?
no.
All right, let's see what's going on with the Sphinx.
Okay. Yeah, I get a negative energy. And it's very low, 2,500.
Well, I can feel the tension going away in my temples when I look at the Sphinx.
Okay. All right, let's check that Sphinx again.
Okay, it's up to 12K and positive energy now.
So I'll tell you what it was doing. It was actually sending that low frequency that you were talking about, Bill, that 2500K, or what was it,
2,500, yes, 2.5K.
Yeah, 2500, okay. To the 8th ray. So everybody's 8th ray was getting it. So Charlie, that would go to, I mean, the 8th ray is the connection to your crown.
Right.
You know, so I mean that you're definitely feeling that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just, here's my thoughts on where it goes. We just cleared some energies of these, and yet there are so many others that we don't know about that we could have changed the energies, and it may not be positive or negative. I don't know. Like we noticed the one English one, and then the one off the coast of England.
Right.
And just by changing the one affected the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me think, I wonder what else we need to do. We didn't make anything worse. I can tell you that. I know that for a fact. We did not make anything worse, but what I'm curious about, what other ones do we need to look at to possibly shift and clear the energy?
Yeah. Huh.
Well, there's always next week.
Well, that's right.
Right.
We're closing in on an hour and a half. Hassan has one more question.
Okay.
Does Russian meditation pyramids have any kind of harmful energy around or underneath? I don't want my meditation pyramid to harm the neighbor below.
Oh, absolutely not. So absolutely not. Charlie, you can speak of that, and then Bill, you can as well.
I'm just glad to get confirmation of that. You know, all of the testing that we have done has certainly not detected any harmful energies. We're going to continue to research that in the future with people from various disciplines, but to my knowledge, there isn't any.
Well, remember, we put the intention that every pyramid that you sold
Right.
had only positive and could only be positive.
That's true. That is true. Okay, I think it's probably about time for us to wrap up this first session. I want to thank Hakan, especially for all of his questions. And for those of you who see this in replay, we're looking forward to having more interested pyramid information seekers on with us next week when we do another session of Pyramid Quest. Any closing thoughts from either of you?
No.
All right.
I'm good.
Well, then until next Monday at noon Eastern time, we'll sign off, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.